That's your bad.
Yeah, it's not silencing on the computer for some reason.
In the meantime, enjoy the robot sounds.
That is weird. It won't let me silence it. Okay. Is that better? Is that better?
Can you hear us?
Okay. Yes. Okay. Sorry that I don't know if there's a weird echo on my computer and it wouldn't let me turn off the sound. Weird. Okay. Welcome in. There's all kinds of updates that happen. So if weird stuff's happening, it always happens when they do updates, right?
Let's use this roll of tape and play Romper Room. Do you remember Romper Room? And I see Ramvic.
Let me go a little
And
bit
I
further
see
back.
Rockin' Habits.
Welcome.
And I see Roskel. And I see Crafter's Outpost. But I had one of those names where
Let's see if
when
that's
you were
better.
watching Romper Room, they never saw Bert.
They never
Ever.
saw Bert.
Ever. They always saw Lisa and Michael and David and
Never
Susie
you.
and Sally, but they never saw Bert. Ever.
XOLO Queen says we must be the same age.
You're 29? No way.
All right, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining. Supposedly the notifications are kind of messed up today too, so we'll see if we actually get much of an audience, but hopefully people see that we went live. So today we're doing a seller help chat, and we're talking specifically about goals and setting goals for the new year coming up. And I have pinned on the screen a document that was put together by the community support team at Whatnot, involving those of us who are also on the community support team that are sellers. And so that is pinned. Make sure you click the picture and then you can screenshot. There's 3 pages. The first page is just a picture, but the second and third pages are information about setting goals. So it's a new document that's out for this year. So make sure you have that screenshotted. And if you want a link to the actual document, I can also send that. Just send me a message. There's just no way for us to share links in show notes or in documents or anything because they don't allow links. So anyway, if you want to have that, just take a screenshot. All right, and I'm going to turn the time over to Bert. He's going to share some thoughts and then we'll talk a little bit more. And if you have any specific questions about what we're talking about,
Tough.
ask him in chat with a question mark, and then hold other kinds of questions maybe till after we talk about goals. And then, we can spend a little bit of time if you have other things that you need help with.
Yeah, if you need to know how to fix a vacuum, you're in the wrong show. So.
All right.
Okay, I'm looking at this camera, right? This is the one that you're using for the show?
Yeah.
Okay, because we keep looking at this camera over here, and then if I want to read
that's the
something,
camera right
I look
there.
at this camera over here.
No, look at
I
this
know.
camera.
I'm just making
And I
sure.
can make it. Let's see if I can.
Can you
angle it
make me?
there.
Can you make me
There.
young and beautiful? No, that didn't work. Okay, we're going to talk about the 4-letter word tonight. Years and years and years of sales experience that I had, and I always hated the GOAL, the goal word. Okay, years and years and years of sales. Every year, every month, every whatever, you set goals. Hey, you stole my phone.
I know.
Okay. Anyway, so I'm going to talk to you about goals, about the 4-letter word. And actually, goals are very, very important. And I want you to think about all the cliches you know about goals. My favorite cliche, and it drives me nuts when people say this, is If it's not written down, it's just a hope. Have you, or a wish? Sometimes they say it's a wish. And you hear all these things about goals, and you have these motivational speakers, and they tell you all these things about goals and things like that. Well, I want you to just for a moment think about all the stuff you've heard about goals over all the years, and then I want you to forget all that motivational stuff and that mumbo jumbo, and I want to tell you the real reason why goal setting is important. Now, in my years and years and years of sales experience, I spent a long, 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 long time in the educational field. I sold curriculum and supplemental curriculum and other educational products. And I talked to and communicated with and sat in seminars and did learning with and rubbed elbows with a lot of teachers, a lot of administrators, a lot of the brilliant minds in the industry. So I know a lot about education. Now, there's a lot of things that are very, very important in education. For example, you'll often hear that if a child isn't reading by the time they hit the third grade level at the proper level, they'll never catch up. So that parental involvement, good teachers, pedagogy, all of those things. See how I threw a word in there most of you don't know? Pedagogy. That means how teachers teach. Anyways, that's all really, really important. But when they studied students and they went back and they looked at these students and watched them over the years, and they found out which ones became the most successful people in the world, the ones who really, really were up there, they found one thing affected them more. So the most successful people in the world had one thing in common. And now certain things, reading skills certainly were important, personality, um, let's see, how wealthy your parents were or weren't, things like how intelligent you were, how high you scored on those intelligence tests and things like that. All of those didn't matter nearly as much as a thing called executive functions. Now, have you if and you don't hear this talked about a lot, but executive functions was the most important indicator of students who became successful adults. So, and what are executive functions? And I pulled it up on my phone, but Dana stole my phone. I'm just going to read this to you real quick about executive functions. Executive functions are a set of high level cognitive skills managed by the brain's prefrontal cortex, right here. Okay, this dumb people don't use this, okay? Acting like an air traffic control system to help us plan, focus, remember instructions, juggle tasks, and control impulses for successful goal directed behavior and self regulation, encompassing core skills like working memory, inability control, or inhibitory control, and cognitive flexibility vital for daily life, learning, and social success. So, executive functions is a goal oriented thing. The most successful people in the world are really, really good at executive functions. If you don't have a goal, here, you want this back? If you don't have a goal, you simply don't have anything to look at to help you to determine whether you're being successful or not. You might have the greatest personality on Whatnot. You may be really, really good looking like me and be on Whatnot. Okay, just kidding about me. But you may be really smart. You may be a really good salesperson. But if you don't have a goal set, you don't know if you're achieving what you need to achieve or not. Goal setting forces you to do things like think about how much did I buy that for and how much am I selling it for and do I need to up my prices? Can I sell stuff at dollar starts and see if I can if I can sell more, where do I stand with my goal? Now, goals are motivated by different things. Um, the I wrote some of them down here. Some goals. What are you doing? Oh, okay. All right. Some people's goals happen because they're naturally self-driven. They're the kind of people they can write a goal up, put it on the wall or whatever, put it in their mind. I really hate that quote about writing it down. It's not. It's a hope if you don't write it. It's just so stupid. Anyway, but you've got people that are naturally self-driven. You have people that are naturally competitive. They want to, set a goal where they have a friend or somebody that does whatnot, and then the two of them can compete, and it's all about the competition. Other people's goals are simply needs based. If I don't make X amount of money, the lights go off. I don't feed my kids. I don't have money for gas for my car. So a goal can be needs based. A goal can also be rewards based. There's the kind of people that are motivated by hitting a goal and then they reward themselves. I'm thinking of one super successful person on a different platform. I won't say it. Who's a seller, and every time this individual hits a certain goal, she treats herself to Chick-fil-A, and that's her motivation. She go to Chick-fil-A and get a chicken sandwich. That's her. That's what motivates her. Um, some people are ego based. Unfortunately, sometimes that's not the best kind of motivation, but some people are. They want to have their name on that plaque on the wall that says they were the best salesperson. They want to be recognized. They want to be premier on Whatnot so that they can, brag to people, oh, I'm premier on Whatnot. And then everybody goes, what's Whatnot? Anyway, but there's ego-based people that are driven by goals. I don't want you to set a goal without determining what your goal what motivates you for your goal. Why do you have a goal? um, and I want you to use logic in setting your goals. And I also want you to look in the mirror and say, what kind of person am I? What drives me? What makes me want to have a goal? Now, a little insight into ours: we have a goal, an annual, monthly, and a weekly goal. And it doesn't take a math genius to know that our weekly goal rolls up into our monthly goal and then up into our annual goal. And we actually have a three-tier goal. The base level is how much we have to make every week just to pay the bills, just to do those needs-based things, put gas in the car, pay our bills, pay our mortgage, and everything like that, pay for the products that we've bought. That's our base level goal. And then we have I would call our mid range or our normal goal. And that goal lets us know that we're improving, that we're selling more this year than last year. Because if you're in Whatnot and you don't have a goal to grow, then and that's okay if you're just doing it for fun or just for kicks or just something to do on the side, and you just like it. I swear I've seen sellers like that, and some of them will get on and go for 8 9 hours, and they just talk. They rarely sell anything, and it's like, holy cow, sell something.
So we
you
have a
know
question.
W-
Can you
you
make a
what
living
you
on
dare
Whatnot?
to interrupt me with a question?
Can you make a living on Whatnot? So you do this for a living?
Yes. So, like I said, we have a base goal that we need to hit in order to pay for things. And that base goal that we have um, makes it so that I don't have to go to a 9 to 5 job and punch into a clock. Dana doesn't have to go to a 9 to 5 job and punch in to a clock. And a lot of the other things that we used to do, some of the other platforms and stuff like that, we really
walked away.
walked away. We don't do them as much. That doesn't mean that we've completely shut those things down. In fact, we're having a conversation today. We have several bins of items that are for sale on another platform.
Congrats, Dory Door, who just won the giveaway.
Dory
You
Door.
guys missed out. I do have another one. So, Whatnot logo fabric bookmark that I made coming to Dory Door. Congrats.
And in fact, if you and then let me just finish with our stretch goal is where we can start putting money towards some of our lifetime goals or long term goals and things like that. But if you look at statistically at the sellers on Whatnot, there are a lot of people who make enough money to make a living doing Whatnot. And in fact, there are some people who are very, very wealthy now because of Whatnot. And that's I would not say that that's us. We're not really wealthy, but the fact that my wife and I can work from home and make enough money that we more than pay for the bills and things like that, and don't have to go to clock in someplace and work for somebody else.
And
That's saying a lot.
I mean, and we're in that semi-retired category,
Yeah.
55 plus. So it's making it so we can extend our retirement and not have to go to other jobs. So
Right.
what was our startup amount? 0.
Well, sort of zero. So that's
I
a great
mean,
that's a great story.
it is a
Our
question.
our the very very first thing we sold. Okay, so just a little bit about Dana and I. She loves dolls. She loves Barbies and certain collectibles and dolls like that, vinyl dolls, I think they call them. And so when we were young, there was a discount store that had old Barbie trading cards that they were had discounted down to like 25 cents a pack or 50 cents a pack, something ridiculous like that. And so just for fun, when you're young and you're broke, you would do the stupidest things for fun. Just for fun, we'd go to the discount store and spend a couple bucks on these stupid Barbie trading cards so Dana could see if she could put together the whole set. Did you ever get the whole set?
Yeah, I did finally. It took me a long time though.
So we had hundreds of these stupid packs of Barbie cards after a year or so. It cost us almost nothing. And so when we decided to do Whatnot, we were like, okay, well, what do we have just sitting around the house? And we did have to pay for a business license, but we already had that from our other companies. We did have to.
And that's not
You
expensive.
do have to have
usually.
a telephone, a cell phone. You need a computer too. So you need paper or labels to print on. So I think that most people can put together 16 to 20 bucks to put some shipping supplies together and stuff like that. But the packaging, most of the packaging we use is postal service free priority mailboxes. You need some tape, things
Yeah,
like that.
you do have to have internet service, but
Yeah, you
who
have to have-
doesn't already have that?
Right.
You
So
may need
so
to
when she
upgrade
says
it if it sucks.
so when she says that we started with zero, it means that we already had those other things in place, and we already had something that was just collecting dust in our shelves. So she took the cards that she wanted to keep out of the set, and then we sold them. And in our very first show, we sold every single pack, didn't we?
Yeah.
And
Sell out.
we made money. Like we didn't take a trip to Paris on the money or anything like that. I don't want to mislead you, but from day one we were profitable.
Yeah.
From our very very first show. That doesn't mean that we didn't try a lot of things that were absolute flops. We did, but we did things like we would tell people what we do for a living, and they would say, "Oh, you know what? My mom passed away 2 years ago, and she left me with all this fabric. I don't want it. Will you take it off my hands?" Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. We had some neighbors down the street from us where we lived before. They're like, "We're moving. We don't want to move everything. Will you please take these 10 bins of fabric?" Yes, we will.
So Good Grief asked, did we have a following? No. If you look
No.
at
No way, we're twinsies. You have yellow on too.
So, on social media, I would say my family and my friends and a few people that followed me from the other platforms, less than 100 or way less than 100.
Yeah.
And I was really only active on Facebook.
You could fit everybody in an elevator.
Right. So, I mean, no, we didn't have a following. So, if you look at my stats, if you go to our profile, everything on there, how much we've sold, how many people are following us, it's all organic. It's
Yeah,
all
we
what we
built it
did
from
since we started on Whatnot.
yeah, and
So,
I would say even to this day, most people that know us will tell them what we do, and then they forget, and then the next time they see us, they're like, "What do you do for a living?"
yeah,
It's just
it's too weird
it's the
to
fastest
them.
growing retail platform out there. It goes back and forth between us and Temu, but
Yeah, it's still
it's
not a
still
household name.
it's still not a household name. It's not like Amazon where everybody and their dog is using it. But wouldn't that be great for us as sellers if in 5 years from now everybody and their dog is using Whatnot? We'll all be independently wealthy by then.
Right.
If it explodes the way that Amazon did, and I'm not saying it will, and I'm not saying it'll explode the way Temu did, because those are different platforms that do something different. However, we've all heard the stories of people who started selling. Um, I met a man a couple years ago who um, he knew that he could buy like the cable that connects your VCR to your television set. He knew that he could buy it in bulk and then cut it into little shorter pieces and sell it through Amazon through Amazon. He has a two huge warehouses now. Um,
Yeah.
so it happens. Those stories are out there, and
And like he said, I mean, we do really well. I mean, without disclosing numbers, we're six figures.
that's right,
So,
$6.
we're doing a six-figure income on Whatnot, selling in a niche category. And yes, we were early adapters, but there are people in our category that joined less than 6 months ago that are premier sellers.
Right.
So, I mean,
We have no idea how, but they are.
oh, that's not
Ow.
true.
I'm kidding.
So it can be done. You just have to do all the right things. And when something's not working, you have to figure out what's not working and
And
fix it.
and so here's the thing about goals and when you're starting is um well, first of all, don't give up super easy because it takes a
It
while
takes a
to
long
get
time.
up to speed.
Yeah.
But set a very small attainable goal. Maybe your goal is $100 by the end of the week. And if you have to go on 10 times that week to get to that $100 and try different times of the day and try different things, do it.
Right.
Do it. But hit that goal.
Yeah.
And then try to get
Right.
maybe try
Once
to
you've
get
hit it, try to
150 the
get a little
next
bit more.
little bit
Yeah.
more. Yeah, you can start out slow and start out like that. And don't quit your day job. Don't go out and spend a lot of money. Don't buy anything. The vast majority of people have so much junk around their house. And like, the saying, one man's junk is another man's treasure. The
Yeah, find the stuff you already have. Find the stuff that your parents already have, that your neighbors already have, that the stuff people were just going to clear out and donate anyway. Find all that stuff first before you start going out and sourcing,
right.
a bunch of new stuff.
My 19-year-old daughter, who's a freshman in college, loved all of the clothing she got from Dana's mother.
Yeah, she went when my mom passed away. Her and her cousins went through my mom's closet And I mean, we're talking stuff that my mom wore in like the 60s, right? And
Right.
they loved it,
They
you
loved
know.
it,
And
you know.
so, and then whatever
So
didn't
you
sell,
just
like,
have to find the
you know,
right group for whatever it is that you have, and come up with the right thumbnail to encourage people to come into your show.
yeah,
And even if you have, we've had shows with one person in it that will buy. If it's the right buyer, they'll buy and buy and buy and buy and buy.
right. You just
So,
have to price it right. You can't do lower starts if you only have one person buying.
right.
Um, okay, so B. Haynes says, "How do you become premier seller?" So there are certain requirements to be a premier seller. You have to sell. The main one is that you have to sell $50,000 in a 3 month period, and they have 3 month evaluation periods. If you go into your seller hub in the app and go to the menu, that's one of the things on the menu is under, I think it's under, let me just look, I'll tell you. But and I can read you the
So
requirements
B
if
Haynes,
you
we've been
want.
on here 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. Okay, it's under performance. The very first thing under performance is Premier Shop. And if you click that, it takes you to an article about what you have to do to be premier. So anyway, and we meet every requirement except selling $50,000 in 3 months. And the reason that we don't meet that is because we've chosen not to have to buy and resell at that pace because we like to take it a little bit easier. But
We
we may
it's not
at
within our
some point.
goals.
It's not within our goal to sell that much and have to hire people or get more
Right,
space or buy more product.
right.
We're pretty comfortable where we're at, but
We
we're
don't.
always growing. So we're always adding more followers. We're always trying to hit higher goals.
Yeah,
Um,
remember when you see a lot of these premier, and premier is mathematically not fair. Um, I'll give you an example. Let's say you sell run of the mill trading cards, baseball, football trading cards, and things like that. You have to sell a crap ton of trading cards to hit 50,000. Someone that sells high-end purses, maybe they go out and spend $400 or $500 on a purse and turn around and sell it for $1,000. They don't have to sell a lot to hit fifty thousand
right.
dollars.
Yeah.
So it's so
But they're definitely spending a lot more on cost of goods. So,
right,
it
exactly.
comes out in the wash.
It's a much greater risk.
Yeah.
And I, like I said, I don't recommend you go out and buy expensive purses or anything like that. But the other thing too is be careful when you compare yourself to premier level sellers, because many of them have employees and time cards and you know payroll
Yeah,
and
they're having to
warehouse
really,
space, and they need more industrial level of shipping goods. I mean, when we started out, we just printed out the address labels on paper and cut them out and taped them
right.
to
We
the
did that
box.
for about 6 months before I bought a thermal printer because we just weren't selling it at a high enough level that we felt like it had to have it. And then once we felt like, okay, we're at that point that it's taking too much time to print and paste and all that. And then we got a thermal printer.
Oh, best
So
thing I ever
yeah,
bought.
and honestly, if I could go back, I probably would have gotten it a little bit sooner because it does save a lot of time.
Right.
But that's kind of how we did it. We just did our pace, and it worked for us. What goes around says, if I were to sell for my stuff, I need a lot of packing material. Is there a way to get that free? Well,
Yes and
you get
no.
all the post office box priority ones for free. So if you're mailing, anything over any orders over a pound, you shouldn't have to buy your own packaging, um, unless they buy too much that will fit in the large flat rate.
So
So
a little bit about us. We're always on the lookout for packing material, and we don't throw anything away until we're drowning in it. And so,
yeah, get free boxes from, recycle places, stores.
right.
Look for people who are giving away their moving boxes for free.
We've
You know,
dumpster dived.
yeah,
I'm embarrassed to say that
I'm
we've
not
dumpster
embarrassed.
dived for boxes all the time, but we went by a place that was going out of business. They were throwing away their shipping bags.
Yeah, like brand new boxes full of poly bags, and we were like, we'll take that.
The really big ones.
I did climb in the dumpster for
Yes, yes, yeah,
that.
yep.
So,
And
yeah.
yeah,
Lynn says, I've been saving all my paper and bubble wrap from buying on here. Absolutely. Absolutely. And just, I mean, be careful about the boxes you use. Make sure they're sturdy enough that they're going to survive, and tape them up really good. But you
don't
can put a
use
sticker on there
yeah,
that says reused,
don't use used food boxes.
Yeah, don't use anything that had food or, things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, you would dive into exactly. No shame in that. All right. Let's talk a little bit about so Bert shared a lot of information about, you know, people who are successful and how making, they use those executive functions and are really good about setting goals and achieving them. And people who are very successful are very goal oriented, and that makes sense. You think about people who are very entrepreneurial, and a lot of them are like just so driven, and they have something very specific in mind, and they get there. And a lot of them are like, they do something amazing and then that fails, and then they're on to the next before it's even, before they've even cleared the room or whatever. So, it's important to really think about what can I do personally to improve my skills in that area, because it really, I tell people all the time, if you don't have um, a specific thing in mind about what you want to achieve on this platform, then you're just flailing, and you aren't focused on, okay, this is what I need. And I tell people it's things like, maybe your goal is just to make enough to support what you want to spend. And that's a worthy goal if that's all you're concerned about.
Your goal can be stop being afraid to get on for the first time.
Yeah, that could be your goal. Just go live for the first
Set a
time
date and do it.
and do it. Just go live. It could be that simple. And then once you've achieved that, what's your next goal? And you just constantly have to make the next goal and to keep achieving, and
Right.
always have a stretch goal, so that, like, if your goal was to just go live, then your stretch goal is to see how long you can stay on, you know, or maybe your goal is, a dollar amount, and you hit that and you're like, yes, then you need to stay on a little bit longer and see how much more you can do. And that's, you're
Right.
going to feel like $1 million for doing that, for making it to your goal. Okay. So, let's see. That's where you're at. Show number 4 on Friday. Awesome. Awesome. So yeah, and then I think it's important for, we're at the end of the year. It is kind of a tough time to be new at the end of the year, just because people already have their established routines, have their favorite sellers, people are buying gifts, it might be a tough time to be new. So, whatever you're doing right now, have those smaller goals, and then have the big goals starting at the beginning of the year, to, start off on the right foot, and just do the little things incrementally you can for the rest of the year. And participate in as many things as you can. Like right now, Whatnot is featuring the Whatnot Wonderland. So when you open the app right now, that big fun little thing comes up. So read your emails. There's an email in your email somewhere. It might be in your junk that tells you about Whatnot Wonderland, and how if you'll put that as one of your tags and use maybe one of their covers and put some kind of I think they said to use gifts or bundles or something in your title, you have the possibility of being featured in the Whatnot Wonderland marketing.
So
So do that. Do all the things that you can to participate and be found more. And
so
go ahead.
so Dory asked a question. Does a name matter? Should you change from buying name to a seller name? I'm going to answer that question by saying yes and no. The largest retailer in the United States right now, and maybe the world, is Amazon. What the hell does Amazon have to do with a company that used to sell books online?
Yeah.
It's nothing, you know. On the other hand, you know, Target, you know, that's a big retailer, and they have the Target symbol, and they have the dog with the Target thing logo, you know, and all of that. Does that help them sell? Yes. So the answer is you don't have to. If you offer the right products at the right price to the right crowd, your name can be I'm ugly as a toad, and you can be successful, and maybe that's a great name because people are like, you're ugly as a toad, what a great name, you know. So it doesn't really it having a
It's more
cool
about what you do
having
with
a
it.
cool name doesn't matter. You know what? Interesting thing. Someone changed their name in the middle of one of our shows this week. I didn't even know you could do that. And we're looking. I was looking for where's this products for this person, and but they had changed their name in the middle of the show, and I had to figure it out. So
Here's another thing I would say about that. If you've been on here buying and networking and have a decent following, and you've already started selling, then I would say be careful about changing your name. If you have been networking just a little bit, don't have a lot of followers, and you're getting ready to sell, that's the time to change it before you start selling. So if you feel like it would be advantageous to have a better username that's more reflective, and that you're going to be able to, have a logo and have some things that will help you market better, then do it before you start selling. But if you have already built a big following and people know you and you have name recognition, it might be disadvantageous to change it at that point.
I
Yeah.
will also say that there is a tendency on Whatnot, and I don't want to embarrass anybody, so I won't say any of the names. But there's about 5 words or names that are so overused on Whatnot.
Yeah, so search out
So
names, and then if
yeah.
it's like millions, don't do it.
So yeah, if there's somebody out there listening and your name is something that's like, and there's 800,000 other Whatnot people, probably a good idea to change your name to something that makes you stand out and be
Yeah,
unique.
because I think that it gets confusing. There's too many people with that same word in their name.
Yeah, and imagine somebody trying
So,
to search to find you.
right,
Vintage. No, 800 million names pop up,
right.
so
Yeah, so do, be thoughtful about what you use and try to find something more unique. Kitten Lady Rescue says she does free logos. There you go. So if you need a logo, reach out to Kitten Lady Rescue. Um, And yeah, and I think it is important to have some kind of branding, some kind of recognizable thing that you use on thumbnails, on your profile. And
but it's not necessary to start.
right,
A logo is not going to get you 8 million
right,
viewers to start with.
right. Right. That's something that you kind of develop as you kind of find your niche and find your tribe and find the what you're going to do. And honestly, there's a ton of sellers who what they first started selling on this platform is completely
Different.
90-degree different than what they started with and what they're doing now.
Right.
Because people will discover this isn't working well or this is too overcrowded, oversaturated, and then they find a better niche that works better for them. So that's another caution about a name is if you gave your name something very specific to a certain type of product and then it's not working for you,
Right.
then you have to change it again. So or you are stuck with that name or whatever.
Right. I
So
let the cat out of the bag and use the word vintage. What if your strong suit isn't vintage things? People will pass you over because they are going to assume that what you're selling is vintage.
yeah, that's true.
Or
So
they're going to
Lynn's
come into your
Vintage
show.
Villa says she's had this name since 1999 when she started, but you've got your first name as the first word. And if you've had it and we're already on networking, there's no reason to change it because you're
Right.
just getting a following and you're getting you know, acclimated that way. So I think it's fine. B. Haynes said I started selling vintage and changed to beats. Exactly. So, that's my caution about naming it something specific and then, oh, that's not working and you want to change to something else, you're kind of stuck with it. So, yeah. But if it's something that this is all I'm ever going to do and it works for you and you feel no issues about it, then don't worry about it. Right. So, yeah. Okay. So, the document that I have pinned, the goal setting for 2026, I just wanted to share a couple of things off of that to point out. So, I put them in here so that I would have them to read. So the first page they have after the photograph, they have keys to crushing your goals. And the very first thing they have on there is build a consistent schedule. And here's what I'm going to say about that. I'm going to say it's not so, I mean, it does help if you can have a regular, I go live every day at this time, or I go live every Tuesday at this time. But I think even more important than that is just having a lot of shows already scheduled out because I see this every day. New sellers come on, they schedule a show, they have that show, and they have nothing else on their schedule for people to bookmark.
And then they raid.
Yeah. And then they raid,
and they
and
say, well,
nobody can
when's your next
bookmark their
show?
upcoming shows
I
because they
don't
have none.
one.
Right. So get a bunch of shows scheduled. You can move them around a little bit if you want to. And when you're new, a consistent schedule is less important because you're trying to still experiment with getting a following at all. What times work for you? What products am I going to sell, et cetera, et cetera. So the consistent schedule comes a little bit later when you've actually gotten to a point where things are clicking, if that makes sense. Then the next one is remove barriers. Um, so, and I think that's important. What are the barriers that are preventing you from having a consistent goal and getting to where you need to be? So, I don't know what your barriers are. You're going to have to figure out that. So, if you're hearing this and you've got some things in the way that are preventing you from setting some achievable goals, what can you do to get those barriers out of the way? Maybe your barrier is just simply, I'm afraid to go live. Maybe your barrier is, I'm struggling with finding a good schedule, time that I can go live. Um, I have, 3 kids and limited time when I don't have interruptions. That's an issue. Figure out what to do with those barriers so that you can set strong targets every week. And I would say if you go live more than once a week, it should be a daily thing. What is my target today? What do I want to achieve today in this show? And then hold yourself accountable. So when you do or don't reach a goal, reassess. Always look and go, okay, what went well? What didn't go so well? What do I need to do? Do I change my goal? Was my goal not achievable? Always reassess. Okay. And then you're building for the long term. I think this is the biggest problem of all for new sellers is I know it's hard. We have a society now where people are very impatient and don't have long attention spans. But this is a long-term thing if you want to be successful on any, if you're building a business, you're building a business. It doesn't happen overnight. Can some sellers go viral? Yes, but how many out of the, probably millions now actually have that happen miraculously? So few, you know so you're building for the long term. Creative treasures, thank you for the raid. Appreciate that. We're doing a seller chat. We're talking about setting goals for next year. So any of you that are sellers and want to, stick around, let me run another giveaway.
If you're just really super bored and you want to hear us talk, you're welcome.
And all right, so another giveaway running
Hi, Queenie.
for a handmade bookmark using Whatnot logo fabric. You cannot buy this fabric, you cannot sell this fabric, but you can make things out of it to give away. And so that's what I do. So if you would like, and it can be used also as a little coaster if you want. So it's a little corner bookmark that you put on a page, or you can use it as a little coaster. So everybody getting that giveaway. And we're not really selling in this show today, so please don't feel like you have to buy something if you want to enter the giveaway.
And if you win both,
I'm able
can be
to
used
send
as
these.
shoulder pads for your dress.
I send these in an envelope, so it's not expensive shipping for me. It's a gift from me. Please enter. All right. Keep your goals simple. Do not make really complicated, difficult goals. Keep them simple and achievable and goals that aren't going to overwhelm you. Okay.
Right.
It's not really a true goal if you look at it and you're like, that ain't happening. That's not a true goal because it's not achievable.
Right.
So make achievable, simple goals.
And I would say make remember I talked about different things that motivate different people. When you work in sales organizations, sometimes they give you monetary rewards because that motivates certain people. Sometimes they give you status awards, like I said, your name on the sales plaque and things like that. Sometimes they just give you goofy things like if you guys win the sales contest, your manager has to dress up like Wendy from the Wendy's hamburger shop or something. It's just really and different things motivate different people. So take a close look at yourself and what motivates you, and then whatever it is that motivates you, reward yourself when you reach your goal. Maybe that reward is you find a friend on Whatnot and you say, I'm gonna let's have a competition. Let's have a friendly competition and see who can achieve their goal. And you share your goals with you. Maybe it's you take yourself out to dinner, or maybe it's that once you hit your goal, you end your show a little bit early so you spend more time with your kids or something. Whatever, just come up with the reward for your goal, whatever that is.
Right. Yeah. So whatever whatever motivates you is, what's going to be important. And when he was talking just now, that made me think of something that's really important to mention. Whatnot is about community. It is more social media oriented, honestly, almost than selling. People come to this app to be entertained. They're coming here instead of watching TV. They're coming here instead of going on YouTube. They're coming here instead of playing some stupid game on their phone. It's entertainment. And a lot of people will buy, but they're ultimately here for the social and interactive more than they are. And then they buy because it's there.
Right.
Okay. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. And if you do not like that aspect, this is probably not for you.
Right.
If you come in here and you're like, you're feeling like, I'm just here to sell, I'm here to make money. And the little things about the social aspect of it are grating on your nerves.
You're probably
You're
better off
probably
doing a
better
different
off
platform.
doing, a Bay or a Posh or a, whatever, because because if that aspect of it is not rewarding to you and fun,
Right.
it's probably not for you.
Right. You have to like interacting and talking with people and answering people's questions.
Yep.
And
And you need to network with other sellers and with your buyers. Networking is
expensive entertainment.
everything.
It can
It
be
is
expensive.
very expensive entertainment. I agree. And you do have to control yourself,
Right.
obviously.
We're getting a
We're
winner.
getting a
But
winner.
you can also
Diane,
just
congrats. You're
tip
getting
the
this
host $1 or
fabric
something.
bookmark. Whatnot logoed fabric bookmark. So on
Congrats.
that thought, what I was getting to after I went on that long diatribe
And somebody in a
was
shirt interrupted you.
that you need to make some friends on this app. Find some people that are like-minded, and maybe it's someone in this audience. Yeah, I do. You do digress. Yeah, I do. Find some people that you can make friends with, that can be your moderators, that can or agree to, I'll come to your show if you come to my show. You can also do that on um, other social media platforms, maybe where it's a little bit less, it's a little bit harder sometimes on here to make that happen. But there are Facebook groups for a lot of categories. There is, you can go to the Facebook groups and meet some people and, do stuff like that. And that will help you a lot.
How do you
to
to
make some people.
Oh, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, I would say it for us, it happened very organically with the people that were coming to our shows regularly and buying from us and made lots of comments. And I just naturally started moderating certain people that I knew I could trust because they'd been buying from us long enough and interacting with us in our shows. And it, happened pretty organically. Um, there are some people who advertise that they will love to moderate. So when you're in shows like this, so I'll ask right now, is there anyone in this audience that loves to moderate, that people can reach out to you because you have the time, you have the availability, and you would love to moderate? Because moderating, honestly, is a good way to get your name out there. So if you have
I'm a
time,
horrible moderator.
so Kitten says me.
So
So reach out to
okay.
Kitten.
So we
Yeah.
have somebody's pretty new. They want to know what the moderator does.
Oh, okay. So a moderator has certain ability when you moderate
Yeah,
someone.
Shannon Miller.
And it's as easy as this. So you just click their name on the screen and it brings up a menu. And that's the same menu where you can kick someone out of the show, you can block someone, you can mention their name. And one of the options on that menu, when you click someone's name, is allow to moderate. Okay, so right now, Kitten Lady says she loves to mod. So I'm going to click Kitten Lady here on the screen. And I'm going to allow her to moderate. Okay, so now Kitten, make a comment, and you'll see that next to her name it now says mod because she's been moderated. Okay, So Kitten, make another comment so that we can see that you've been moderated. And then there you go. And then there's tools that moderators can use. So she just did an announcement. We know that because see how it's in a little box. So there's a tool next to the chat when you're allowed to mod that is a backslash, and it allows you to slow the chat, send hidden messages, and make announcements. And if you go to the help.whatnot.com and just type in moderating, it'll tell you all the things they can do and how it works. And anyway, so when you allow someone to moderate, it gives them a little bit of power to help you in the show, and they can monitor the chat so you can run the show better. They can send you hidden messages if you're missing something.
They can kick naughty people out.
Yeah, they can kick naughty people out. Usually a good moderator will ask you in a hidden message if you want to have someone removed or kicked out. But yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah.
So it's pretty simple. And yeah, I would recommend that you definitely network with some people.
Hey,
and
Custom Wood Burning.
Hey, Custom Wood Burning's in the house. How are you? So give Custom Wood Burning a follow. They are also on the community support team and do seller chats. And she gives good seller chats with lots of good advice. So yeah, just network like crazy by going into other people's shows. Don't be obnoxious. Don't try to take over people's chats. Just be there and start making those connections. And that's going to make all the difference in the world to make those connections. So yeah, it makes a big difference. So let me pull that back up because there was a couple other things I wanted to share.
Can I just make a comment about the community aspect?
Yeah.
I feel like if I were traveling around the country and let's say something disastrous happened and my car just broke down and I was completely out of money and anything, I feel like I know enough people around the country that there is somebody who I could call that would help me because I feel like we're that close to that many people. So if you get a phone call in a few weeks,
and we need a tire.
answer the dang phone.
So
Bert?
yeah, I
Bert?
mean,
No, I don't know Bert. No.
I don't have a ton of people's phone numbers, but I have, quite a few of my friends. We now also text,
Yeah.
because we've become such
go to
close
South
friends
Carolina.
that I have,
We got some good rib
a
joints
handful
there.
of people that I can text. But I could definitely open the app and send a message to one of my groups and say, does anyone know anybody in Dallas? We're broke down.
Yeah.
And I
In New
know
York
someone
City,
would
yep.
probably respond and,
Yep.
help us out. So yeah, we are kind of matchy
I know.
today.
Isn't it kind of gaggy?
We did the whatnot.
We were walking
colors.
through the store today and they had the matching pajama sets. We just about yacked up right there.
We're not matching jammy people.
No. No.
Yeah. All right. So the other thing I wanted to talk about on here is, and Bert was making fun of the write it down thing, but I personally like the write it down thing because if I've written it down, I remember it. If I've written it down, I feel like it holds me accountable. So yeah, I think you should write things down. You don't have to after a certain amount of time if you have, if it's ingrained and okay, this is my goal, this is my stretch goal, this is what we need to do, fine. But when you're first starting out, I think it's important to write it down. So yeah. Kitten Lady says there was a girl in New York whose car broke down and had nowhere to stay and live. And people fed her and got her car towed. Yeah.
You're saying
I mean, and honestly, I feel like that's how, the media would make it seem like people are not kind and giving and loving, and it's the complete opposite always. When someone's in crisis and people see it, people help, people step forward. You would, I would. There's people just like us, and we make those connections here with like-minded people, don't we? And so that's your tribe. The people that are like-minded, the people that can recognize that you're a good person, that you have good values, and by your stats, they can see that you have good reviews, you ship quickly, and they can start seeing that, and that's going to bring you, a following. That's going to get you where you need to go. So, being community minded and doing the things you need to do. Okay, so one of my very favorite things that I share in my shows, if you haven't already seen this, most of you probably have, but this is a little thing that I put together a while back called the 5 F's, the 5 F's for attracting buyers. And it's goal oriented if you look at it, because it talks about the things that you need to be doing on a consistent basis. So it's written down, it's ingrained. And when I came up with this, I didn't want to use the F word because I'm like, that has a different connotation and that's not me. But then I thought, wait, I need to use that word because then people will actually remember it. So it is the 5 F's that have nothing to do with the F bomb. But the 5 F's are, if you
Wow.
tap the picture, the number one thing is fun. If you are not having fun doing this, then something's wrong. You're selling the wrong thing. Your attitude about it is wrong. You're not passionate about what you're doing. Um, Nobody,
Yeah.
this is all entertainment, really. People don't want to come to shows on here if they're feeling kind of like they open the show and you're like, meh, people leave.
If they feel like if the show's like what?
If the I'm not going to do that again.
Oh, come on.
No.
Meh.
Okay, so it's got to be fun. You've got to be having fun. The people coming in your shows need to be having fun.
It has to be real.
It has to be real.
Some people are not very fun, but they have a great following.
Yes, yes. But that's part of what I mean by fun. They're enjoying it.
It's gotta be
Enjoyable.
enjoyable
And real.
Yes.
So, and if it's not, people leave, right?
Right.
So that's the number one thing. Number two thing, it has to be fast paced enough that people don't feel like it's dragging.
Right. Yeah.
So it
And
doesn't have to be
like
10
Hal Hart
seconds
says,
of
he
death.
doesn't like when they're
Right.
loud and rude and some buyers can get rude, and I don't understand that.
Yeah, I don't either. There are some categories that's kind of the norm, but if you don't shop in that category or you don't like that, then that's okay. It's not for you. Don't go there. But there's some categories that their vibe is more loud, obnoxious, pushy, you know, and some people like that. I don't like that. It's not my thing, but they obviously have their following.
And if that's your vibe, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's great. Go there, and some of those categories are very lively categories. So
Shannon says, say thank you for my laugh and distracting her from a bad time. Oh, you had someone do that. Aw. Yeah, and you can make someone's day. I've had lots of customers reach out to me and thank me for things, like simple little things like that, you know, and just distracting someone, being nice, doing giveaways, um, selling something to someone that for a good price that they really want, they're super excited that they found.
putting something aside for somebody they'd like.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do to, make someone's day better.
Yodeling,
Yeah. Yep. People get on here because they want to sell stuff to people who want items, and that is a community spirit. That's true. Yep. Yep. Let's see. Have a plan for your show and how it will be run. Yes.
Amen.
Amen. Always have a plan, but I am going to say also always have
A backup
a
plan.
backup plan, because the nature of this app is such that whatever you planned may not be what people want that day. I don't know,
Yeah,
because
it's
you just never know who's going to show up. So have a plan, but also
be
have
quick on your
plan
feet.
B.
Yeah.
Be quick on your feet
Plan B,
to
plan
pivot
C.
if you need to. Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, sometimes you have to pivot. Let's see. I've had so many deaths lately, and I get on here and get in a better mood. I'm so sorry. Yeah. And a lot of people, that's one thing you can definitely count on being true. Life is hard. Life is very hard, and everybody is going through something at some time, right? And we need to be there for each other for those hard times, because and the people who have such a hard time and they don't have support, it ends up not so good, right? So be there for each other, be there for your co-sellers, be there for your buyers, be there for each other, make it more enjoyable, make life more interesting and fun.
Even so she had a lady that even cried. Even Dana cries and
Oh, I
she
cry all the time. I'm
it's
like,
hilarious.
well, I'm just a crier, period. But
It's
if I start
hilarious.
getting sentimental about anything, I'm like, "Boo," and it's like it's real. I'm not gonna end my show because I got sentimental. It just happens. So Cowheart says me too. Yeah. Um, oh, I'm sorry about your daughter. That's hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everybody's having hard times. And so, if you can lift somebody else up
So here comes the
and other
tears.
people lift you up, I mean, it's a win, right? Because that's what we can do, is we can lift each other up. So, someone said community over competition. Yes. Amen.
Hey, thanks for the tip.
I thought that was yes, that's definitely a great quote. Oh, thank you so much, Cat Cells. That was very kind of you.
We tried cat cells, but they were very hard to package.
Yeah,
I'm
and it's
kidding.
against terms of service to sell cats.
Well, that's true. Wow. Wow.
That is not funny. Okay. Let's see. Kitten said, I had a raid train 3 days after my mom died on my birthday in October, and I cried the whole time, but sold my stuff. Yeah.
There you go.
You know, you do what you do, because life is hard. And if you run away every time something's hard, you're never going to get anywhere, right?
So, thank you for mentioning raid trains because we're kind of getting off the goal thing. Make it a goal to get in a raid train
Yes.
if you're new.
Yes.
And there are some ways that you can find raid trains to get on. And sometimes just going to shows and asking about raid trains, and people will help you. Is there still a website they can go to, or
There's a couple of different ones, but there's a Facebook group that's specifically for raid trains. I honestly feel like the best way to find good raid trains that are a good match for you is just to go in your category, or the category you want to do a raid train in, and type in raid train, find shows that are raid trains, and then reach out to the organizers, because the organizer's name will usually be right on the thumbnail, or it will be in the show notes, or they're the one moderating. You know what I mean? So just reach out to people and network. And once you've gotten established in your category, you'll almost always get invited to be in raid trains if you have good stats.
Yeah,
You've
that's
got
fair.
people see you got 5 stars, and there's even raid trains that are geared specifically to new sellers. So you just have to network and find them. Don't
Yeah.
do one that you really don't like just to do one. That's a good tip. I agree with that. And also, don't join a raid train if you're not ready. Because then it's really
Yeah,
tough.
technologically, you need to know what you're doing.
You need to be able to do fast shows because most raid trains are anywhere from 10, some are even 5 minutes, short, up to maybe an hour. Very few raid trains are over an hour, and I would say most are probably between 15 to 30 minutes. So you've got to be able to do a fast paced show, and you've got to know how to raid. And what is a raid train? So a raid train is when, well, you'll see it when we end, is you raid, but like raiding, but instead of just selecting someone to raid, it's a scheduled raid, and it's usually themed. So someone will organize a bunch of sellers to be in a themed show that they have a set schedule. Dana's going to go on at 10, Mary's going to go on at 10:30, Susan's going to go on at 11, and they have it set, and everybody's in a group chat to help keep everybody organized, and they have a theme. Maybe your
last
theme
one-
is everything is pink.
Right. The last one we did was it was fabric that was anything but quilting cotton.
Right. So that was the theme
So-
of the show is, sell whatever you want, but it can't be quilting cotton.
And it was only a half an hour. And you will find that once you're established and once you get up and going, those will be some of your most profitable, like she said, half hour, 15 minutes, hour.
They can be.
They can be. Sometimes it can be really, really slow, but it helps to build your
Right.
your
The purpose of a
customer
raid
base.
train is more to get your name out there, get get
do it
some
from
more
your phone, that's for
followers,
sure.
and kind of get just
We
kind of network.
Lily, we actually use both. We use our phone and our computer. We do some things on the computer and some things on the phone.
Yeah.
Because for whatever reason, the app is not equal on both.
Well, and like right now, we actually have 4 devices going.
That's
So
right.
I've got the camera phone, I've got my laptop sitting here, and then I've got Bert's phone, and then we have another phone that is an old phone. It's a new enough, but it's an Android that we use to mod. Um, and we use that one because it's an Android, and all the other devices we have are Apple, and so it helps us to see what people are seeing on Android.
Right.
'Cause
And
it-
it's
yeah,
and the different types of phones and computers do things differently
right.
too.
Yeah.
So
Let's see. My Funny Farm says first show was today at 2. Had 5 buyers, made $210. Is that pretty good? I would say that's
really good.
amazing.
That's great.
That's
That's
amazing.
awesome.
That's fabulous. Congrats. Everybody give My Funny Farm a follow. And My Funny Farm, do you mind if I share your profile? Tell me. My Funny Farm. Okay, sure. All right, so here's My Funny Farm. Just had their first show today. Cute backdrop, cute little dog in there. Her name's Amanda. And it says, Critters are not for my funny farm. That's cute. All right. And then we don't have another show scheduled.
You broke the commandments
Okay,
of
so-
selling, Amanda.
Yep. That was your big mistake today. So you had a great show, but people weren't able to bookmark your next show. Okay, so now
you're an abject failure.
no,
Sorry.
you're not. So now she's
I'm
learning.
kidding. I'm kidding.
So now you need to get it on the schedule, even if it's a week or 2 from now. Get it scheduled, and
Because even
then
if you change it, those people will still be notified when your show goes
right.
live.
So when you have your next show, you need to have more shows scheduled. The app actually allows you to schedule up to 10 shows at a time with the same settings. So let me just show you my profile. And I am a little bit excessive because I do seller chat shows, but here's my show schedule. Okay, don't get intimidated because, like I said, I do a lot of seller chats, but most of these are regular shows. I'm still scrolling, and you see a lot of the same thumbnail. So my regular shows are scheduled out through February 6th. My seller chats are scheduled out through March. Okay. They're already there. all my shows. So when someone comes into any of my shows and they like what they see and they want to come again, people usually go in and start bookmarking all my upcoming shows because they like it and they don't want to miss the next one.
The other thing that you'll see when if you're a new seller is um like for example, we sell different kinds of fabrics in different shows, and people will come on and say, "Oh, do you happen to have, let's say, canvas?" And we can say, "Not in this show, but if you'll bookmark our upholstery show or whatever we call it now, we'll be able to sell it." And they bookmark it, and they will come back a lot of times, and you will be able to make that sell. So even though you don't have that in your current show, you can direct them to the show where they will find that, because most sellers don't sell just one thing.
Right.
They kind of diversify within their category.
Yeah. Yeah. That is true. Okay, I'm going back in all the comments here. Let's see. Um,
That's really clever, my funny farm.
let's see. I did it outside with all my critters running around with goats. Oh, I think that's awesome. Yes, people love animals. People love if you have an obedient dog that won't bark a lot. People love when people sell with their dog close, their
And
cat
people
close.
absolutely hate it when you have a yappy dog that won't shut
Yeah,
up.
so if you have yappy dogs, make sure they're out far away. But if you have obedient, cute pets that will sit
Everyone
still,
loves
people
cookie
love
for the
that.
goats. That's awesome.
That is so cute. That is adorable. And goats are so cute, especially baby goats. Baby goats, oh my gosh. If you have baby goats, put them in every show and you'll probably sell out. All right. So, what do
Oh,
we sell? We sell mostly fabric and crafts.
yeah.
So, sewing fabric for quilting and making other things, and then craft stuff. And we sell several different types of fabric.
Well,
So, it's a pretty
we
niche
try
category.
different things too. So
Yeah, and we have some other things that we've sold and sometimes still sell. Um, but yeah, it's an awesome niche category, and we have a lot of fun. And our fabric community is amazing. Amazing. I mean, sellers really, really network and support each other and help each other out, and do a lot of raid trains and invite people. And you know and even though it truly is that you're competing against one another, it's important to understand that everybody has a different vibe, and everybody doesn't always have exactly the same merchandise at the same time, and not everybody goes on at the same time of day. So, and not every buyer can be on 24 hours a day. So they're going to come in when they can come in. And so they may not buy from you because they're never on at the same time as you, but they buy from someone else, and that's okay. You're not going to get all the buyers because not everybody can be on the app all at the same time. It just doesn't work that way. So, what I'm saying that because a lot of people feel like, oh, there's too much competition, too many other sellers, but you all have differences, and not everybody can be on everybody's show all at the same time. So
and
try to.
you'll be surprised. There's shows going on at 3 o'clock in the morning, at 4 o'clock in the morning,
Mhm.
and if that winds up being your niche, that's your niche.
Yeah,
But
it could
yeah,
be.
it could
It
be.
could be. You never know. So you just have to kind of try and figure out what's going to work. And also, it's important what works for you.
Right.
Because if this is so disruptive to your life, um, that it's not working, then you've got to figure out a better way to make it work. You aren't going to want to, do shows at a time that just don't work for you, because it's just going to bomb. It's going to bomb, because you'll be too stressed and everything. So, yeah, it's got to work for you. Early morning and late night are awesome times, according to Kitten Lady Rescue. There you go. There's less competition at those times for sure. So try out those times if they work for you and see if maybe those will be successful times for you. All right. Um, Go through my auction tab. So if you click on the shop on your screen, let's see if I'm pointing, where is it on your screen? Anyway, click on the shop on your screen and go to the auction tab. And all those documents are in there that are in there are just things for you to screenshot. So lots of tips and tricks and informational things about all different kinds of things. They're always available in all of my seller chats. So we do this specific type of show where we're in front of the camera 1 or 2 times a month. The rest of the month, I am on my treadmill every Tuesday and Thursday morning, with very few exceptions. Um, and I walk and I chat. So I'm not you don't see my face, but you see my treadmill dashboard and my iPad. And I just chat with you guys about whatever. And I show you things and I guide you to what you need. So if you feel like that would be useful for you, those shows are on my schedule every Tuesday and Thursday. I am in mountain time, so it is a little bit later for those of you that are East Coast, but that's my walk and talk tomorrow morning, 7:45 mountain time. So if that is something that would be useful for you, stop in, bookmark those shows, and we talk about what's going on Whatnot. We talk about updates. Um, you're allowed to ask any question. You're allowed to share your shows. You're allowed to vent. And anything that comes into those shows that is either feedback about things that are going right or things that are going wrong, I share with Whatnot. I share those things, and things actually get done and happen based on people's feedback. Shipping questions, yes. So I can answer shipping questions.
And I do a show from the shower where we talk about body wash.
Oh, please no. That does not happen.
Oh, okay.
And it would be very much against terms of service.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're
Okay,
not supposed to talk about body wash on
so
Whatnot. Never.
so in my auction tab, I'm going to pin this document that is called Choosing Basic Shipping Settings. So if you're new and you need help figuring out how to set up your shipping for the first time, screenshot this. And then you also need to go to my YouTube, which is in the show notes. My YouTube account is Draz on Whatnot, all one word. Find it using the exact ampersand Draz on Whatnot, one word. And then go to the live shows that are on the YouTube account and find the one that is titled Don't Sink Your Shipping. And it has a little ship emoji as the beginning of the title.
Don't sink your shipping.
And if you use this document that I pinned and go watch that video, it will help you figure out how to do your basic shipping settings when you start. Now, I will say that the way that you start with shipping may change depending on the volume of your sales, the amount you sell, and if
Your
you
customers.
have customers that buy a ton, you might change up your shipping settings a little bit. Or if you become very successful, a lot of times big sellers will do just flat rate reduced no matter what, because they can afford to do it because they're selling enough. We do flat rate $9.21 max no matter what in all of our shows except for a few. So sometimes we do box shows where we sell boxes full, and that one you pay the flat rate per box. But other than that, we do the 921. I will tell you that reduced shipping is an important thing to try to be able to do, because it will get you more people in your shows if you can do it. So some categories it's hard to do.
And if you're selling $500 purses and you just pay for the shipping, oh well.
Right. Yeah, a lot of those luxury sellers will just do free shipping because they can afford to. they can afford to pay that $9.21 to send someone their $500 to $1,000 handbag. So yeah. All right, let me make sure we didn't miss any specific questions that anyone had. But yeah, on those shows, I'm happy to answer questions about just about anything, and I will show you as much as I can. That video on my YouTube account is probably better as far as going over details because when I'm on the treadmill walking, I can't like walk you through step by step, but on that video, I do. So that makes sense. Okay. All right. Anything else anyone wants to talk about? I think we pretty much went over goals. Make sure you screenshotted that goal sheet. And I'm trying to think if there was anything I didn't say about goals that needs to be addressed.
It's a 4-letter word,
It's a 4-letter word.
but necessary.
A necessary 4-letter word. Use your executive functions and set goals to be successful.
That's right.
That's the takeaway. Yeah. So if anyone has anything else they want to chat about or ask questions, we can be on for another 10, 15 minutes.
10, 15 seconds.
Seconds.
Oh, what did you ask earlier?
What did you ask earlier? Did I miss it? I don't see it on my screen. Let's see. We'll have to go back earlier in chat. It's not popping up when I
How do you handle customers who are struggling?
customers who are struggling. Struggling meaning to know how to use the app.
Oh, to navigate the site? Sometimes you have to be very, very patient.
Yeah, I would say have moderators that can
Yeah, that's
chat with them personally
kind of walk them through.
because otherwise you have to stop your show and that's hard, right? So have your moderator kind of walk them through the process of how to, shop and how to bid and, stuff like that. Yeah. And you're fine with that, if you're comfortable doing that, but stopping your whole show to try and teach someone how to use the app is just going to disrupt and make people leave because they don't need to learn how to use the app, right? So, yeah, I would say, yeah, if you're comfortable having them message you and you can call and teach them later or have your moderator go through the process with them. How do you get approved to go live? Honestly, right now it's as simple as apply. So if you need a link, it's in the show notes. Just copy it out of my show notes or take a screenshot. But you just click the thing to sell and apply, and most people get approved pretty fast. So they used to make you have to show your inventory and do some other processes. And I don't know exactly what they're doing right now. Has anyone applied to sell just really recently, like within the last few weeks? Tell us if you have.
I would recommend that you do it sooner than later because they reserve the right at any time to limit the number of sellers.
Right.
Right now they're being very generous and letting a lot of people in. But
at any time that could change.
they could rescind that and start being a little bit more picky about who they let in.
Cards with Kim said all I had to do was send in a picture of my driver's license. Yep, there you go. So, it's pretty simple. And then you will have to link your account using Stripe, your bank account, and do a few other things when you fill out the info. But those of you that are recently approved to sell, did they make you do any kind of onboarding or go watch any videos or do anything like that? Because when A few years ago, you had to attend a live onboarding where a Whatnot employee actually gave you a little quiz that you had to pass, and then you had to
We also
go
had to
through
do,
some video tutorials
right. We
and
also had to
stuff.
do a talent and a swimsuit. Oh no, wait, that was Miss America. Never mind.
So Card says no, training was very limited. Yeah. Shannon said I didn't have to do anything other than fill out the documents. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now they're
That
being
stuff was not very
very,
good.
you know, pretty much anyone can sell. Now, I will say that if you apply to sell and you don't go and do some stuff to find out how to do it, you may get yourself kicked off really fast. So do your due diligence, look at my show notes. Those are all the official places for you to get help. So in the show notes, you have the
Hey.
starred bullets.
That's my phone.
Follow the Whatnot Seller account where they do seller focused shows, including some that are geared for new sellers.
You can show them
YouTube.
that if you want.
So here's what's in the show notes. So just take a screenshot of those starred bullets. Okay. What are surprise sets? So those truffles are so good, aren't they? And let me answer cat sales on private show. If you want to do a private show, when you schedule the show, down at the very bottom of the where you're filling out the schedule, there's a thing
Yeah.
you can click to do a private show. And what that does is it puts it on your schedule and you can see it, but it doesn't put it on the public schedule on the For You page. It only shows up
So
on your schedule for you. And then the only way people know to come to that show is if you send them the link.
yeah, sociopath, you're in a good spot to sell if your mom did that. So
What did she do?
her mom passed away and left her with a bunch of fabric.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Go
And
for it.
that's exactly what we're talking about. Don't go out and buy a bunch of stuff. Find something you have that people will purchase.
Yeah. Okay, so now Kat's asking about surprise sets. So a surprise set is what used to
Surprise.
be called a mystery, like mystery bags or mystery boxes or whatever. And there are a lot of very strict rules about doing anything mystery or surprise. And I honestly would recommend that you not do surprise set shows
Yeah.
unless you are in a category where that's pretty much what they do. Because there are some categories like certain trading card or lounge fly. There's a couple categories that's pretty much what everybody does, but you have to schedule your show under when you're scheduling your show, you have the option of either auction or surprise sets. And if you schedule it under surprise sets, then that means that your intention is to sell um, places or to show bags that people buy without seeing what's in it. And you have to do it exactly like the rules, or you can get
In
big trouble. And honestly, the rules are kind of convoluted and hard to understand.
And Dana,
So,
if you're not aware, Dana is on a board that meets regularly with management at Whatnot for feedback, and so I kind of sit in the background and listen to what they're talking about. I don't think Whatnot executives smile very much on that type of show.
yeah, they don't love it because they get a lot of unhappy customers, requests for refunds, and returns. And so, even though that category is available and there it's well loved and liked in certain categories, um, it's not it's not great.
Right.
So be really careful about anything titled mystery or surprise, especially if you schedule your show just as a regular auction. You're not allowed to like have bags on a shelf and people pick a number and they don't know what's in it until after they buy it. That's not allowed anymore. So you have to show what's in there, or otherwise it's against terms of service. So you have to be very careful about what you're doing with mystery, because people have to know what they're buying if you don't have it scheduled under that category. Okay.
Yes, handmade stuff can be sold on Whatnot, and it is all the time.
Yeah. Handmade is sold all the time. I will tell you
It's a
that
tough
it's a
category.
tough category though, because it's just not known for handmade like that other platform that is known for handmade. And so you don't have as many people coming to the platform for handmade. So most of us who have handmade items mix it in, or you have to find a specific niche. So
Well,
there are some very successful sellers who are selling soaps, who are selling upcycled clothing, that kind of niche where you're making like the really cool boho or upcycled cool clothes that are sweatshirt, t-shirt, that kind of stuff. But you're just your general run of the mill handcrafted items, meh, it's going to be a tough sell.
yeah.
So you can
You're-
mix it in.
You're much
You
better
could
off
do-
selling the fabric.
Yeah, you're much better off selling the fabric and
Finished
mixing it
goods.
in by doing craft along, sew along, and then selling the fabric, the kit, the pattern.
Sell kits.
Yes, kits
Put
are
together kits that people can
popular.
finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do 80% of the work, cutting everything out in the pattern and all that, and then sell it in a kit. You'll be much more successful than a finished
Yeah.
product.
And the other part that's difficult is no matter what you do, you have to ship it within 2 days. And you can't take custom orders to make handmade things and feel like you can get it done in 2 days all the time. And they are not giving an exception right now for
And
a handmade or custom made. So you still have to ship it within 2 days. So, you still have to have, so you can only really sell pre-made stuff. So Crafters Outpost is doing well in handcrafted. So tell us what you're selling, because I think you've probably found a good niche, right? So there are some sellers who are doing well, but you have to find a niche, and you have to really be consistent and advertise it and do a lot of raid trains, um, and really get your name out there. And you probably have to do a lot of networking. Yeah, that's right. You sell in junk journal category. And junk journal category, we have a lot of handcrafters, but it's because there's a huge group
and they
that all came in and they
understand that community very, very well.
right. And they buy each other's handmade junk journal stuff, but it's different than like things made out of fabric. Yeah. And yes, Crafter does a lot of raid trains. Yeah. There's a lot of raid trains in that category. So we sell sometimes in that category too, because we sell a lot of fabric to junk journalers, and we do also sell some craft items. But I personally don't make junk journals. I sell the supplies that a lot of junk journalers use. So, but yeah. Sociopath, I made 50 10-minute Christmas table runners for a vendor show that got snowed out. Now I'm stuck with 50 table runners. So, yeah, I think you probably, could sell them. Um, but the Christmas season is kind of almost over. So it might be tough to get them sold before, because we're down
You'll
to
be
that
here
limit.
next year.
But you'll be here next year.
And Christmas sells year round, as long as you don't do it every show.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say that you could definitely, show some how you make them, and then have some available, and you might sell a few. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, July is definitely it's the time that people start selling, the Christmas stuff. And I pretty much just try to mix it in all year, although I did a really bad job of that this year. And so I have a lot of Christmas stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, we did really, really good with our Arbor Day stuff this year.
Yeah, Arbor Day. Yeah, for sure.
Very, very well.
All right. Any other comments or questions or things people want to talk about? Yes, you can do demonstration shows. You just always have to have something for sale. So you either have kits that you run or you have stuff in your buy it now that people can buy. Don't expect a lot of sales in those kind of shows. It's more to get your name out there, show people stuff that you do. But you can definitely do some good shows. Shannon is doing um, handcrafted demo shows. And she said they're her biggest show. There you go. So go watch Shannon to get some ideas. Crafters Outpost does demo shows every week and does well with that. So I've done some in the past and I haven't done any in a while because my serger is not working. So one of the ones that I've done is I show people how to make these boxy baskets out of the upholstery fabrics that we sell. But I still, in those shows, I show them an example and I give away the pattern for free in those shows to anyone who wants it that bought something. And, it helps me sell the fabric because I'm like, see these cool baskets you can make, and here's the pattern. And they're like, oh, that's so cool. I need more pieces because I want to make some of those. So then they're going to buy more fabric. So, I always tell people, you got to sell your stuff. What does that mean? You got to sell it in a way that it shows people the big picture. What can you make with it? What can you do with it? Where are you going to put it? How are you going to wear it? Who are you going to give it to? Really sell your stuff. Paint the
Yeah.
picture.
Here's a perfect example. We found several bags of 50 or something uh, cotton bags with drawstrings, very nicely made, but they had a logo on them. But they were still really, really a great price, and they were really super nice fabric and everything. So we bought them, and then we came home, and Dana and I brainstormed. We said, "Well, what can we do?" And Dana turned one of the bags into a Christmas bag by fussy cutting. Did you fussy cut?
Yeah, Fussy cut a design, made a little quilted pocket for it, and heat and bonded it onto the bag and covered the logo.
And then we showed our customers what we had done with that, and we sold those bags like crazy.
Yeah, so
Every time we
everybody
did
got a
that,
set of 5, these nice bags, and then people were sending us pictures of the stuff they made out.
they'd made out of them.
It was
Right.
awesome.
You put the thought in their mind so that it didn't just look like a cotton bag with some company's logo on it.
Right.
So
Yeah, and look for opportunities like that. Of something that you can pick up for inexpensive, some fabric, some craft items, something that you can then turn around and show people an example of how to make it, and then you just sell them the supplies
right.
that they can do it themselves. Because a lot of times it's hard to sell handcrafted if you're selling to the audience that can make it themselves. They're going to be like, well, why would I buy the one you already made for $50 when I can buy the supplies and make it myself? So some of the handcrafted categories like jewelry, the wood stuff, you're going to get a more general audience that'll want to buy it, but it's harder with some of the other categories, so you just have to play with it and see what's going to work. So, but there are some people being very successful, but a lot of them are very niche, like the mini Millie Piggy guy that paints. He takes canvases and puts paint on it and spins it on a drill and makes paintings and signs them and does cute custom things with them during the show, live on the show. It's
Yeah.
handcrafted. It's bizarre, and he's covered in paint, and the room is covered in paint, and people love it.
Yeah.
He's hilarious. There's
And
a
the lady that
lady.
does Hey,
Amy's
doll
Rock and
heads.
Pop Shop. Go watch her
I think she
handmade
was in here
shows.
tonight.
Yeah, Amy's Rock and Pop. If you haven't watched her handmade, she also sells in other categories, but her handmade shows, she takes vintage doll parts and makes these really cool. They're kind of like a tree topper, honestly.
Yeah, like an
And she
angel.
custom makes them for people right on the show. And they're super cute and people love them and they bid them way up. So, yeah. So go watch some of those successful handmade sellers and see the different things they're doing.
All right. Well, good night. Thanks for
Yes,
stopping in.
thank you for coming in. We're gonna wrap it up because we've got somewhere to go. And it's late at night, but we have to run our daughter something. So yeah. All right, let me get someone up here to raid. If everyone will stick around for just 2 seconds while I find someone that we can raid into. And I'm gonna see if someone else is doing a seller chat, and if not, we'll raid into our category, fabric and crafts. And let me just see who is alive that we can raid into. Let's see. I don't see anyone else doing a community show that's popping up on here. So let's go raid into one of our friends. I'm going to let Bert choose either that one, or that one. Did you see?
What's
I
the
pointed
third
to
one?
this one, or
The-
this one,
Who's got the fewest?
this one.
All right, go there.
All right, we're going to go right into my friend Broken by Design. She does handmade jewelry and also bags.
Dana buys earrings.
I
From
buy
her
earrings
all
from
the
her all
time.
the time. So here we go. Broken by Design. They're a lot of fun. Her and her mom do the shows together, and her husband hangs out with them. Thanks,
See ya.
everyone. Have a wonderful night.
Bye.